constraints with players injured, but there are a lot of World Cup winners amongst them. In fact, I think everybody there has won at least one. It looks like a very, very strong team. Perhaps some gaps on the bench, though.
Well, yes and no. I think the obvious issue is at lock in the second row, where Erge Snyman is out for the rest of the year. He suffered a ACL injury to the knee, so he only expects to be playing again at the earliest, maybe in December for his club, but more likely January. Franco Mostert and Loet de Jager were not available. Their issues are not nearly as serious, but they weren't available for selection. Riley Norton, the under-20 captain who was part of the game against the Barbarians and performed so well, he was also not available. So a lot of the lock stocks not available for this particular one, but you still have Eben Etzebeth and Ruan Nokia in the starting lineup. I think the front row really did pick itself, as did the loose forwards. And there'll be some debate, I suppose, around the selection of the halfbacks, but the fact that Kobus Reinach is coming back from quite a long-term injury probably made sense to have him on the bench. And Grant Williams and Marnie Libbok have performed well together as a combination. And then the three quarters, what can you say? I mean, Cheslin Colby and Kirtley Arendse, you could argue that Edwil van der Merwe is pushing for a spot on the wing, but Cheslin and Kirtley have been outstanding. Damien de Allende and Jesse Creel, the most capped centre pairing in Springbok history, and Damien Willemse at the back, with Willemse and Colby both celebrating their 50th test matches tomorrow. So, I think it's a very, very strong team. As to your point on the bench, interesting selection there. Zach Porthen as the replacement tight head prop, no Wilco Low. And Zach Porthen just winning his fourth test cap tomorrow off the bench, a former South African under-20 captain. But he brings so much more than scrummaging power.
Yes.
He's a big lad. He's over 1.9 meters tall and 124 kilos. But he's also very mobile. He's got good hands. I think it's a bench that's actually been selected to speed up the game in the second half. Jan-Henrik Wessels, his replacement hooker, is incredibly quick across the ground. You've got Cameron Hanekom, Kobus Reinach, Kane and Moody. So it looks like a bench to me that will look to intensify the pace of the game in the second half.
Matthew, let's take a step back from the specifics of the squad and let me ask you this. I mean, successful coaching teams and successful coaches, if we individualize it to Rassie Erasmus, have to keep freshening things up, renewing both themselves and the ideas they share with the squad. Is Rassie Erasmus still doing that and successfully so in your view?
Absolutely. I think just my point about the number of players that he's selected and exposed to Test rugby in the last 2 years, it just gives him so much more optionality, if that's even a word in the English language. Let's pretend it is for now. But, you take a player like Andre Esterhuizen. Is this a 5-3 split on the bench or is it a 6-2? Well, In fact, it's both. It's both. And if you look at what he's got available to select in the front row, a given is that they can all scrum powerfully, but there will be other softer skills that may be preferred for a specific opponent. And I think one of the things about being ranked as the top side in the world, and this goes for any sport, is that you have a target on your back.
Always,
when Rassie came back, Springboks were ranked 6th or 7th in the world and were being written off as no-hopers. But when they won the Rugby World Cup in 2019 and got the number 1 world ranking, which they've now held for a significant period of time, you have to innovate. You have to evolve. The attitude within the squad is, if you fail to change things, you are going to get caught, because people are watching your every move and they're not only trying to replicate it, but also trying to find ways to counter it. So you have to stay one step ahead of the pack. I mean, that's an imperative.
What kind of rugby are we going to see? You and I had a long conversation, Matthew, that I really enjoyed, I think a year ago, where some people were getting a little bit concerned that there was a new style. We'd taken a real beating against Australia at home, despite playing some exceptional rugby in, I think, the first 20 minutes before it all fell apart. And there were people then saying, well, we need to get back to traditional Springbok values, keep it tight, strong pack of forwards and so on. Of course, what Springbok rugby is an evolving thing. Any idea what we're going to see this year? Or maybe we're going to see more than one thing?
Well, I think you're quite right. I mean, the first 25 minutes of that test against Australia gave us some of the most sublime rugby we've ever seen from a Springbok team, and they ended up losing the game from a 22-0 advantage. I think it was 38-22. They scored 38 unanswered points, or 36-22. But we got a clear picture of what they are capable of. Now, those who are saying, oh, no, revert back to type, are missing the point that to play that high-tempo, highly skilled rugby, you still got to have the ball on your terms.
Right.
So a strong set piece and excellent work at the breakdown still needs to be there in order to give you the platform to bring your playmakers into the game. So I do think it's a combination. And I think the mistake they made in that game against Australia, and valuable lessons were learned, is that when you're 22-0 up at altitude, you think that nothing can go wrong.
Yes.
And suddenly a couple of loose passes and Australia are back in the game, and psychologically you start doubting yourself. So I don't think that mistake will happen again. And a good thing that they found it out last year, because they started to play expansively from everywhere. And when a mistake happened and Australia were able to capitalize, they turned it into points. So I do think there'll be a mix of strong set piece, strong breakdown work, but off the back of that,
yes,
I know it sounds horribly cliche, John, but you often hear players say we need to play in the right areas. Well, it is a cliche, but it is true. And I don't think you'll see too much risk being taken inside South Africa's half of the field.
Thank you so much. Boy, what a game to look forward to. Matthew Pearce, SuperSport rugby commentator. And speaking of SuperSport, they will bring you the women's rugby team up against the United States. That's a 1:30 kickoff. And then the Springboks opening a 12-test season against England. Kickoff there is at 20-6. Coverage, I'm sure, beginning before that. 28 minutes past 4.
EWN Business.
Play expansively in the right areas. I suppose that could be a way of going about your investments. Stephen Curtis, the markets today, favorable or not?
I think we've got the set pieces right in the markets today, John. Good afternoon. Welcome back. Yes, so I think the set pieces are on the correct spot. Most of the driving being done by resources. They're up 2.69% today. Industrials doing a so-so job at scrum half at up 0.34%, and financials almost kicking it away at number 10. They're up 0.36%. The JSE All Share as a whole, about to win another World Cup, up 0.99%, 111,546. I'll stop now because I'm beginning to really irritate myself. Oil prices roughly where they've been. US markets also closed today. I realize the 4th of July is tomorrow. Go and take it up with them. Harmony is up over nearly 5.5%. Platinum prices doing very nicely too. Implats up nearly 5.5%. Altera up over 4%. Northern Pan African, all of them doing very well. MTN's up nearly 3%, and Sanlam's up 2.64%. The Bytes Group down again today, down nearly 4%. And then Optasia had an astonishing day yesterday. They're up 14% at one point. I think they ended the day up 7%. They've given back quite a lot of that. They're up 3.56%. Despite stellar updates for them yesterday. The Foschini Group also giving up some of their gains of yesterday. They're down 2.14%. And then Sun International, they're down 1.93% on the day. Government taking that decision to increase the stockpiles they keep of oil stocks. So at the moment it's 30 days. They'll go up to 60 days. And the longer term, John, the idea is 90 days. A couple of questions, of course, that will come out of this, which is you need tanks to keep the stuff in. And you generally need tanks close to where you would unload them. So
yes, indeed.
And that can be tricky. You have to rotate it, and that's caused trouble in the past. So all sorts of things that need to go into that. But that is the plan, and I think it does make sense. Global stocks today are extending some gains. They're basically picking up where the US left off yesterday, because those jobs numbers sort of softened expectations that the US Federal Reserve would in fact hike rates. I'm sure Kevin Welsh was breathing a sigh of relief yesterday. The gold price, $4,163.78 an ounce. Platinum, $1,649.08. Brent crude, $72.06 a barrel. The rand to the dollar, 16.23 to the euro, 18.57 to the British pound, 21.67 in the scrum. Go forwards, not backwards. Stephen Crotus, EWN Business.
And above all, do not collapse. 702 Drive will bring you more business news with Stephen Critis in 55 minutes. Time you don't have to wait at all, though, for the very latest eyewitness news, because here's Mbali Dlamini. Good afternoon.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Engineering excellence remains critical to South Africa's efforts to rebuild confidence in its infrastructure sector. This is according to Public Works and Infrastructure Deputy Minister Sihle Zikalala. Zikalala was speaking at the Public Works and Infrastructure Summit in Johannesburg today. He says the country cannot deliver safe, reliable and sustainable infrastructure without investing in engineering expertise as well as leadership. Zikalala says engineers will play a central role in improving delivery, maintaining public assets and supporting economic growth.
We're working hard on consultation as the department on the establishment of the Office of Engineer General of South Africa as a response to a call that came from the South African engineers themselves that released or revealed the need to build and strengthen engineering.
Parliament's Portfolio Committee Chairperson Ian Cameron has questioned why the SAPS cannot deploy the same level of resources and urgency to combat crime as it did during this week's anti-illegal migration demonstrations. Cameron's remarks follow similar concerns raised by members of the public on social media after Tuesday's widespread marches. The police launched a 600 million rand operation to strengthen security measures ahead of the protests. Cameron says while he understands officers were called back from leave to bolster Tuesday's operation, concerns remain.
It's important to understand that a lot of members who had been off or on leave had to return to duty in order to fulfill the potential role of intervening should there have been any violence of any kind on the 30th. But it is a very important thing to consider is that if the police are able to do this on a special day, why not do something similar on every other day?
Cameron says the levels of violent crimes in the province warrant the same urgency and sustained deployment of police resources.
If we look at the levels of violence in certain areas, use the Western Cape as an example. If you look at high levels of gang violence, for example, and constant shooting, daily shooting in certain communities, there's no reason why the South African Police Service can't, for a certain amount of time, deploy serious resources in order to not only stabilize but actually do the relevant arrests and even assist with investigations.
And Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to embark on a strategic tour next week. He will visit Indonesia, Australia and New Zealand as New Delhi seeks to strengthen strategic ties in the region. Modi will review cooperation across a range of sectors during his visit to Indonesia, including maritime security, defence, trade and cultural ties. The tour comes after Modi's visit to Mauritius in March last year and the Seychelles just last month. This reflects what India's External Affairs Ministry described as a shift in diplomatic focus to the Eastern Maritime region under the Act Easy policy. A cold but sunny Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Lows of between 2 and 3 degrees and highs of between 17 and 19.
Accident seen in Alberton, N12 westbound near the Ilands interchange, causing more than a 30-minute delay all the way from the Kilulis interchange, while in Boksburg, accident seen N12 west before the R21 Rietfontein off-ramp, also causing more than an hour delay from Atlas Road, and in Sunning Hill roadworks, causing about a 30-minute delay approaching the intersection of Rivonia Road and Witkoppen.
The top story in EWN, Public Works Deputy Minister Sihle Zikalala says engineering excellence remains critical to South Africa's efforts to rebuild confidence in its infrastructure sector.
What is special about this year's 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk is is that it returns to where Walk the Talk all started, where we'll be walking in the inner city, celebrating the resurgence of the city of Johannesburg and celebrating the people who make it special. You should take part in this year's 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk because there's so much good stuff happening in the city of Johannesburg. The city is having a moment, and it's thanks to people and organizations who never stopped believing in the power and the magic of the city. So this year, I can't wait to be at the start of this momentous 702 Walk the Talk. I haven't been to Ellis Park in many, many years. So while I might not see you on the route, I'll definitely be at the beginning to see you off as you begin your journey through the inner city. To enter the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, go to primemediaplus.com and we'll see you there on the 26th of July.
Do good while having fun at Jazz for Young People, brought to you by the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. Bring your family and friends to this exciting family-friendly concert, curated by the young for the young, all in support of fundraising for the music department at the National School of the Arts. Enjoy live performances curated by Msaki. There's the NSA Band featuring Msaki, Kutlo Taro Band, Spartan High School, Pro Arte, and Central Johannesburg TVET College. Join us on the 25th of July 2026 at the National School of the Arts in Bromfontein. Tickets are selling fast on Quicket, with prices starting from just 50 Rand for children. If you can't attend the show, well, you can also pledge your 100 Rand donation to the fundraiser via Quicket. Great music, great food, great company. One great cause. Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. Jazz for young people. Be there.
When you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Nedbank is more than just a bank. We're a growth partner because we understand that real success happens when you're looking ahead, spotting opportunities others miss, and planning for tomorrow, today. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Incredible Mazda moments of wonder await around every scenic twist and turn at 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Walk the Talk. Because on Sunday, 26th July, you get to discover 5 Mazda wonder experiences on the 8-kilometer route from a stunning Japanese garden to a world of color. Visit one and share your wonder moments on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. Then tag and follow at Mazda SA using hashtag Mazda SA, and you could win your share of 50,000 Rand thanks to Mazda, where wonder awaits. Official vehicle partner of 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. T's and C's apply.
702. WhatsApp John
On 072
702
1702.
My movie that describes my salary is Gone with the Wind.
Danny Jordan's movie for his salary should be Frozen. This is Chris from Radiohead.
John, my salary, if it was a movie title, it would be View Once. You only view once and it's gone.
Good afternoon, John. Titus from Tofontaine here. John, what about if I tell you the movie title for my salary will be Jumping Castle. Hey, John, you wouldn't believe how distance jump, eh? 1 second, it is down. The next second, it is up. Yeah, Jumping Castle. That's my movie title. Cheers, man.
Thanks for those. A movie title that best sums up your salary and your relationship to it. Give us a call on that on 011 883 0702. Still to come on the show, lots of debate and discussion around the visit of former President Jacob Zuma to India, and in particular, the fact that firstly he met Ajay Gupta of the Gupta family that was so much central to the time that Jacob Zuma was in office and the many controversies that surrounded that, but also the fact that he was accompanied by our High Commissioner to India, Anil Suklal. Lots of issues there and many questions, I think it's fair to say. Some might say, well, the High Commissioner was simply doing his job. If a former president is in the country, you accord him diplomatic services and support. But it's, as I say, it's complicated. We'll try and explore those complexities after 5 o'clock when we talk to international relations expert Kingsley Makubela. 702 Drive, it's 20 to 5.
EWN Sport.
That means it's time to talk about sport and football in particular with Tolakele Mganga.
The EWN World Cup Desk. The latest scores, the biggest stories, and the moments everyone's talking about.
Well, John, the German Football Federation have confirmed that Jurgen Klopp has told them that he's fundamentally willing to take over as coach after Julian Nagelsmann handed in his resignation. Nagelsmann had a contract until 2028 but has stepped down from the job just 4 days after Germany's disappointing last 32 exit to Paraguay. The main shaft's exit means they have not won a World Cup knockout game since they were crowned champions in 2014, as they failed to get beyond the group stages in 2018 and 2022. For Portugal, they paid a winning tribute to the late Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva. That follows a 2-1 win over Croatia in the round of 32. Today marks exactly a year since the forward died, while EA Sports have announced they'll rename the FC Pro World Championship trophy to honor him. Portugal teammate Goncalo Ramos says 12 months later, Jota remains a key part of the national team.
No, every day it's special because we talk about him every day. He gives us strength, and it's very special to win today and to reach one of the most important phases of this competition.
Other results from the action overnight saw Switzerland bundled out Algeria following a 2-0 win, while Spain were efficient in their 3-0 success over Austria. The last 3 matches of the round of 32 take place over the next few hours, and they'll see Australia up against Egypt, Argentina clash with Cape Verde, while Colombia up against Ghana. Andre Ayew has spoken about the Black Stars' desire to progress to the next round.
In football, I think every game you start is 50-50, and tomorrow is going to be another tight game. And listen, we're going to do our best. We're going to put on a show, and we'll see what will happen. But what I can guarantee is that we'll definitely make Africa proud and Ghana proud.
And in a Bafana update.
Others are at home talking. We are here doing the work. That is the difference. Second World Cup, second Senior World Cup, knockout stage. Let them talk.
Sinesipho Mali has publicly apologized for those comments which he made after South Africa's group stage win over South Korea, saying in the heat of the moment his emotions got the best of him. He's now stepped down as head of performance analysis for Bafana, a decision he insists he made months before the World Cup. Tolakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
From kickoff to the final whistle, this is the EWN World Cup Desk. EWN Traffic.
17 minutes now to 5 o'clock. Let's find out what's happening out on the roads. Karabo Charlie, it's busy in Alberton.
Yeah, Alberton, that's if you are leaving the Alberton area heading towards Lynmeyer. There's an accident scene on the N12 westbound near the Ilands interchange, and this is causing more than a 30-minute delay all the way from the Kilulis interchange in Boksburg. There's also an accident scene N12 west before the R21 Rietfontein off-ramp, causing about an hour delay all the way from Atlas Road in Pimville. Slow-moving traffic, Chris Hani Road. This is between Barra Hospital and Klipspruit Valley Road in the Joburg CBD. This is traveling towards Boyson's bumper-to-bumper traffic M1 south from Killarney Bains to the Crown interchange. Sunning Hill roadwork still causing about a 30-minute delay approaching the intersection of Rivonia Road and Witkoppen. And finally in Mainland, there's slow-moving traffic on the N1 southbound between Linwood Road and the R21 Flying Saucer interchange. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. So there lots and lots and lots to look forward to in terms of sport over the weekend. But I'm keen to know, do you still go to live sport? And if so, what is it about being at the stadium, watching the game, perhaps taking a younger family member along with you and introducing them to sport in 3D with all the sights and sounds and the build-up and the excitement of getting close to a stadium and seeing crowds of people all heading in the same direction, usually, or at least half of them, backing the team that you are hoping will win. And if you've stopped going to live sport, what is it that stopped you going? So, two-part question. If you still go, what is it about being in the stadium that is just irreplaceable? And, I don't go perhaps as often as I would like, perhaps not as often as I used to, but I do love to get into stadiums a good few times each year. But I'd like to hear from you on that particular point. Kelly, but before we talk about how often you get to go and not, and I know that often when you go, you're working, but what is special about being in the ground? Some people will say, well, you don't get the commentary, you don't get to see all the replays, you don't get the focusing in on a specific moment of action, but I'm assuming there's a but for you as well.
For me, oddly enough, that's the reason I go to live matches, because I'm the one that kind of dissects and understands a game the way I want it, and I get to see the full image and I get to track people and what they're doing on the pitch. But also the 2 hours of just being in this little bubble and you sing and you're hanging out with people that you love and you're just having this experience that kind of allows for you to pause what's happening in your life to just focus on this one thing. And it's funny how you walk in and you're like, oh, I'm a little bit tired. Your team will score, they'll equalize, they'll do a whole discourse, and then by the end of it, we're all like just walking out and life goes on. So it's just a moment to pause from everything that's happening and just enjoy roughly 11, sometimes 15 people chasing around a ball.
Do you find that after a game finishes, you're incredibly hungry? I, for example, have a massive craving for sweet things. Maybe that's just my rationale. But, I could buy chocolate at other times of the day as well. But I definitely need sweet things, and chocolate in particular. I don't know what that's about.
I have like a stadium squad. We call each other that now.
Yes.
We never eat before we get to the ground. So by the time we settle down, we're eating there. We're already making plans on what to eat afterwards. And then in between, you're nibbling. Even the guy that just walks around selling the biltong. Yes, I don't understand why 5 pieces are 100 rand.
Yes.
But I will be buying the pieces because I always need something to chew on.
And he's got a business. It's only there every once a week. So he's probably trading in other parts of the city as well. Karabo Charlie, who took you to the stadium when you were younger?
Well, I went with a group of friends.
Okay.
My first game, I think it was a Pirates game, obviously, PSL. But then talking about food, right? I've stopped going to soccer games because, okay, that's not really the reason, but I've stopped going to PSL soccer games recently because I feel like some soccer fans can be a bit rowdy, out of control, and all sorts of things happen, like smoking in front of kids, which I don't like, taking my kids there. And then also recently with the great football we've been having, they've been getting a lot of crowds, full house capacity. But then I find it that stadium management is not controlling the crowd properly. Sometimes there's some people that can't even get into the stadium because it's too full. So yeah, it's always chaos. But the one that I enjoy going to, it's going to watch the cricket. First of all, you can get in with your own snacks and food and beverages. You don't have to particularly buy there because like Tolegele says, the biltong can be, the prices can be just too expensive. And it's more kids friendly. The kids can go play at the jumping castle. The people are more behaved. The crowd control is organized. So yeah, I enjoy cricket matches than actually going to soccer games.
Have you been to a Springbok test match?
No, I haven't.
Gonna have to fix that. Every year I try to take someone who's never been to watch the Springboks. I
guess this is my year.
No, I didn't know you'd never been. You're going to have to wait, I'm afraid. 2027 in my diary, and it should be in yours. 702 Drive, it's 11 minutes to 5.
Randall's One Song on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drive with John Perlman.
So it's something we do every Friday. I look forward to it a great deal. Randall Abrams is with us to share with us a particular song that he has chosen for a particular reason. Randall, we're going to listen to Madonna today. What brought her into your thinking and into your mind on this Friday? Good afternoon to you. Randall, I think you might be muted. Is there a little button there that would allow us to hear what you're saying?
Sorry about that, John.
No problem. We've got you now.
Today is the release of Madonna's 15th studio album, Confessions on a Dance Floor Part 2. And it's a follow-up to her album from 2005, which won a couple of Grammys. It's obviously dance-oriented, produced by, amongst others, Stuart Price, Mariah that she worked with before, Andrew Watt, who's worked with the Rolling Stones. There's a single that's out already, Sabrina Carpenter, on a track called Bring Your Love. And as I say, she's been touting the album for a long time. It's taken up to 3 years to record and release. They've been working on it since 2024. And I think, yes, just such a substantial body of work, for someone that I remember when she came out in the 80s, they said it sounded like Minnie Mouse on helium, but she has built the most incredible career. And as I say, to still want to do a dance album, 20 years after the original, and I think it's going to be quite successful. There's some young performers on it. I think it's quite an incredible career. The song that we're going to listen to harkens back a long time to 1985 when she just kicked off her career. And the first song that she'd ever done as a feature in a motion picture, Vision Quest, and a ballad. And I think for me, Madonna has really been able to straddle dance music and really big emotional ballads at the same time. You'll remember her work in Evita, of course.
Yes. Yeah, and links to movies very strong and prominent throughout those years. Let's take a listen then. This one's called Crazy for You, all the way back from 1985, and then we'll talk about Madonna now in a moment. Randall Abrams, one song, let's hear it.
Swaying room as the music starts, strangers making the most of the dark. 2 by 2 their bodies become one. I see you through the smoky air. Can't you feel the weight of my stare? So close, but still a world away. What I'm dying to say is that I'm crazy for
Crazy for You, Madonna from 1985. For some reason reminded me of another of her great ballads that I loved from the movie At Close Range, a song called Live to Tell. If you haven't listened to it in a while, I would dial it up and take a listen. But Randall, I want to come back to something you said right at the beginning. An album 3 years in the making. I mean, what does that actually involve? Do you work on it all the time for 3 years? Do you dip in and dip out? I mean, you've had many conversations over your lifelong engagement with music, with musicians, but when they talk about long projects, I mean, in general, how does it work, if indeed there is an in general?
I think in this case, John, I think it is kind of dip in, dip out, as the inspiration, as and when the inspiration takes you. And I think because there are different producers and different collaborators, one also has to work around their time, their availability. So that becomes quite a challenge. Whereas in the case of there's a new Rolling Stones album on the way, by the way, and that apparently was recorded in a very, very short space of time. Mick Jagger actually helmed that project, and then they went into the studio, they had everything down, and they recorded. But I think, there are just certain kinds of musicians, certainly Springsteen is the type, I believe, who pores over things. He'll complete a whole album, and then he'll think, geez, I can actually replace one of these songs with a song that I originally wrote 10 years ago. And he'll pull a song off and replace it, as I say, with a song that he's written a long time ago. So I think these projects take so long because, as I say, you've either got artists who really question themselves and really, pour holes in their own work and want to kind of rejig things. And on the other hand, I think in the case of Madonna, it's just been a case of, pulling all the different strands and people together has taken a long time.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, I'm just looking at one review of Madonna's latest album, Confessions 2, and certainly in The Guardian, they headline it by saying, nostalgic dance floor trip sparks her most vital album in 2 decades. And Alexis Petridis, the reviewer, gives it 4 stars out of 5. So I'm looking forward to listening to it and hearing more than just the snippets that have been shared with us by Randall Abrams on Randall's One Song. Randall back with us at the same time next Friday.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
Are you a traditionalist where you are really into acoustic guitar sounds, or are you a rock and roller who loves pedals and distortions?
A little bit of both. It depends on who I'm producing for and what kind of sound they want. If they want something a bit more heavy rock, then I do that. But I'm quite versatile in my sound.
Vuyo Mara, but his stage name is I Am 16.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Smart business moves save money, so switch to Outsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. And did you know Outsurance was voted News 24 Short-Term Insurer of the Year for 4 years in a row? Make the smart business move and switch to Outsurance Business Insurance today for dentistries, general medical practices, physiotherapies, and all other businesses. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08 600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Big advances in health are happening right here in South Africa. Local researchers are studying a new TB vaccine called M72 that could help stop people from getting seriously ill. And programs like Cochimpilo are helping men living with HIV overcome stigma, start treatment, and stay on it through peer support and private chat guidance. It's South Africans helping shape the future of global health, supported by the Gates Foundation for 25 years. Partners of human potential.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
702 Drive. Why would planting masses of hectares of a plant species in the Eastern Cape called the Spekboom do so much good? On the one hand, it will create up to 11,000 jobs. On the other, the company that's funding all of this, Amazon, will get huge value in what are called carbon credits. how do carbon credits work? What do they do in terms of ensuring that we as a planet start dealing with global warming and other issues? And might there be more of this down the pipeline? We'll explore that in an interview with environmental lawyer Ricky Stone. That's coming away at 5:20. It's 5 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Evidence-led at Madlanga Commission reveals plans to target journalist Yusuf Abramji, and Zuma warned he is taking risks with his privileges following Gupta visit. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Evidence led at the Madlanga Commission today has revealed conversations between Deputy Crime Intelligence boss Feroz Khan and businessman Mo Saeed to target journalist Yusuf Abramji. Evidence leaders are presenting evidence against Khan in his presence today. This as Khan remains hospitalized following an assassination attempt on Sunday evening. The general is legally represented by his attorney today. Khomotso Medise has more.
One of the themes explored by evidence leaders at the Madlanga Commission today is a conversation between General Feroz Khan and businessman Mo Saeed about journalist Yusuf Abramji. In the text, it shows a press statement by Abramji in which he blames police for the worsening of the illegal tobacco trade. In the statement read by evidence leader Adila Hassim, Abramji names Carney links in the sale of illegal cigarettes, a company which Saeed is a director of.
General Khan responds, F him up, bro. He must stay in his lane.
In more messages, Saeed shares more posts about Abramji, about the illegal cigarette trade, and Khan says he could sort it out easily. The commission has also seen texts showing that Khan had also taken issue with the work of Daily Maverick reporter Marianne Tam on SAPS PPE corruption. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News.
Minister in the presidency, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, has warned former President Jacob Zuma that his privilege could be refused for undermining the country's foreign policy. This follows his visit to the fugitive Gupta brothers in India. The brothers are wanted by South African law enforcement for corruption and state capture allegations. Addressing the post-cabinet briefing earlier today, Ntshavheni described the visit by Zuma, who now leads his own political party, as a disgraceful act. Babalondenze has more.
The Gupta family of Atul, Ajay and Rajesh fled to Dubai in 2018 as law enforcement agencies were circling around them. The brothers were accused of siphoning billions of rand from state-owned entities through their connections and links to Jacob Zuma. Ntshavheni says Zuma spending time with the Guptas in India recently is a slap in the face of South Africans.
You are aware that there are privileges extended to former state presidents, but government is entitled to review such privileges if they are abused to undermine the laws of this republic. This is not the first instance in relation to this particular state president.
Ntshavheni also slammed High Commissioner to India, Anil Suklal, for hobnobbing with wanted fugitives. She said appropriate steps will be taken against Suklal for attending the gathering. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News.
The eThekwini municipality says the process of repatriating Malawian nationals is outside its jurisdiction and now falls on the lap of Home Affairs. Hundreds of Malawians are currently camping outside the Durban drive-through repatriation site, seeking assistance. In a statement today, the city says it played its part and assisted with deportation since last month, but the stranded group must now turn to the relevant authorities. Nhlanhla Mabaso reports.
On Wednesday, eThekwini Mayor Cyril Xaba declared the drive-in site closed, but more Malawians have since arrived. It's been 2 days since the group, including women and children, started camping at the site, braving cold and rainy weather while seeking government intervention. The municipality says it has noted reports about those camping there. However, it says repatriation sites have now been moved to Musina in Limpopo, where most undocumented foreign nationals were taken. It's urged public transport operators to stop dropping off Malawians outside the site and says it will not comment further as the matter falls under the Department of Home Affairs. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Durban.
And Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to embark on a strategic tour next week. He will visit Indonesia, Australia and New Zealand as New Delhi seeks to strengthen strategic ties in the region. Modi will review cooperation across a range of sectors during his visit to Indonesia, including maritime security, defence, trade and cultural ties. The tour comes after Modi's visit to Mauritius in March last year and the Seychelles just last month. This reflects what India's External Affairs Ministry described as a shift in diplomatic focus to the Eastern Maritime region under the Act Easy policy. Well, gold is trading at $4,182.21 an ounce. The rand is at 16.23 to the dollar, 21.67 to the pound, 18.51 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $71.82 a barrel.
Alberton accident seen on the N12 westbound near the Eland interchange, causing more than a 30-minute delay all the way from Modderfontein Road heading into the Joburg CBD. That's coming from the Cleveland-Germiston area. Traffic sluggish M2 westbound between Heidelberg Road and the Crown interchange, and in Sunning Hill roadwork still causing about a 30-minute delay approaching the intersection of Rivonia Road and Witkoppen.
In your sport, Ghana and Egypt target last 16 berths at the FIFA World Cup. Ellis Park plays host to Springbok doubleheader, and Chris Froome announces his cycling retirement.
A cold but sunny Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to overnight lows of 3 degrees, peaking at 18. Pretoria 3 and 19, and Vereeniging 2 and 17 degrees. The top story in EWN, evidence led at the Madlanga Commission, has revealed conversations between Deputy Crime Intelligence boss Feroz Khan and businessman Mo Sayed to target journalist Yusuf Abramchi.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
On Sunday, 26 July, 7:02 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk unites us all in the iconic Joburg CBD. 7:02 Walk the Talk. Abize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, it's 7 minutes past 5. It's been cold today. It's going to be very cold over the weekend. What are your plans for dealing with the cold? One way, I suppose, for people, if you can, is to simply ignore it and just do what you would normally do. Walk, run, cycle, garden, play sport, have braais with friends. And if you have tickets, go off to the rugby as planned. Huge game at Ellis Park tomorrow, which I'm massively looking forward to. Give us your thoughts on a couple of issues that I've raised with you, please. I asked you about live sport, whether you still go, what it was about being in stadiums that you just found compelling and special in an era when literally you can sit on your couch if you are hooked up to the right channels and stations. Sit on your couch and watch most of the sport from pretty much everywhere in the world. Somehow, for me, never quite beats being in the ground. But some of you have got thoughts on that, and we'll play some of those thoughts in a moment. As you will have heard in our bulletins throughout the day, quite a lot of discussion still about former President Jacob Zuma, his visit to India, his public engagement with Ajay Gupta, and the role of our High Commissioner in that country, Anil Suklal, in being part of that same gathering. And questions are being asked about whether he was involved in facilitating it, or, as is being suggested, he didn't actually know that Ajay Gupta was going to be there. We'll talk about the rights and wrongs and the intricacies of diplomacy in a moment with Dr. Kingsley Makubela, former diplomat and director at Risk Recon. We're keeping an eye, by the way, on the situation out in Rotunda, just based on pictures particularly coming from ENCA. This looks as if it has really escalated into a day of quite alarming violence. I'm not fully sure of what all the issues are. We understand, I think, that 2 people have been killed. There have been buildings burnt, and the police are out in force. Tear gas is being used. We've seen water cannons as well. So if you are out in Rotunda, if it's a place you are in or you have family members there and you can start contributing to our understanding of that, I'd be very grateful. Get in touch with us on 072 702-1702 and 011-883-0702. Friday, we do what we call a song, a book, and a dish. We'll be talking to comedian and TV presenter Mpo Pops Mudikwane. Big weekend for him as we launch another season of The Masked Singer South Africa. So we'll chat briefly to him about the show, but get to know him well through the music and the book and the food he has decided to speak about. That's coming up at about 20 to 6.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Good afternoon, John. Good afternoon. My movie name will be Stunted Growth. Stunted Growth, because that's where I have been for the past 4 years.
Yo, 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 sexele kancane, sexele kancane, sizophumelela. Good afternoon, John, and the team. That's the only thing that keeps me going back to Kweskama Minzela. That's the only thing that makes me drive to Durban. That's the only thing that makes me drive to Limpopo. So as Mpumalanga, singing, being part of the crowd, cheering the boys up, more so my team that has been doing good for the past 3 years. I enjoy to be part of the action when it comes to soccer. Thank you, John. Makata Makulu on his way.
Beautiful question, John. I tell you, the atmosphere is absolutely something else. For example, a Soweto derby. You know, you start feeling that atmosphere from the Friday in the malls around the stadium, like at Southgate Mall. You start feeling that atmosphere, you know, black and yellow everywhere. And then, like, for example, a Springbok game. Those are bucket list items for any South African, I can tell you that. I took my son to a Bulls versus Stormers game, the biggest mistake I've ever made. And all he ever does is say, all right, what do I need to do for you to take me to another live game? So it is absolutely special especially if you've got the right people to share it with. Shivers in Boksburg.
Yeah, thanks. Wonderful messages. I was just asking you about live sports and whether it's still a part of your life. And if it is, why do you feel, as two of our listeners have just shared, why do you feel there's something about being there that is irreplaceable? Call us on that. It's 12 minutes past 5.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Karabo Charlie.
Alberton, John, at this stage, there's an accident scene N12 westbound near the Eland interchange, still causing about a 30-minute delay all the way from Modafontein Road, Pimville, Soweto. Slow-moving traffic on Chris Hani Road between Bara Hospital and Klipspruit Valley. Nooit gesig. Heading into Soweto, traffic also heavily backed up N17 westbound between Nazareth Road and the Soweto Highway. Driving through the Joburg CBD, bumper-to-bumper traffic M1 south from Killarney Benz to the Crown interchange. Heading into the Joburg CBD, coming from the Cleveland Germiston area, traffic sluggish. M2 westbound from Heidelberg Road to the Crown interchange, while in Sunninghill, roadwork still causing about a 30-minute delay approaching the intersection of Rivonia Road and Witkoppen. And in mainland, Pretoria, expect some delays. N1 south from Linwood Road all the way to the R21 Flying Saucer interchange. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You may be paying more for medical aid this year, but switch to Outsurance and you could drop the price of your car insurance premium. You could save big, like 43-year-old Ilana, who saves an unbelievable 349 Rand a month on her 2022 Suzuki Jimmy. There's never been a better time to switch and save with Outsurance. Why wait? Get a quote today. SMS out to 30674. That's out to 30674. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
14 minutes past 5. Well, I think the issue has been set out. There are words flying in different directions. Flying perhaps is overstating it, but there's a lot of conversation around former President Jacob Zuma, his visit to India. He attended a religious service, and there it became evident that he was spending time with Ajay Gupta from, yes, that Gupta family. Questions have been asked as well about the conduct of South Africa's High Commissioner Anil Suklal, who was involved in that visit, and questions are being asked by his employers, the Department of International Relations and Cooperation. But what is it that diplomats are actually required to do when, for example, a former head of state pays a visit? Let's try and understand this better, unravel some of the issues that have got, to my mind, a little bit tangled. And welcome to the show, Dr. Kingsley Makubela, who is a former diplomat of many years' service and is the director and founder of Risk Recon. Dr. Makubela, welcome, and thanks very much for giving us your time. Let's focus for a moment on the High Commissioner. When a High Commissioner is informed that a senior South African politician currently in cabinet, perhaps, or a former head of state, which is a position of considerable status, is coming to the country, are they pretty much at their service? Or are there some things they can say, look, I'm not prepared to assist you with that thing?
Good afternoon, John. No, the High Commissioner and Suklal in this case, he has no option to say I can't get involved.
Yes.
Because former heads of state, they keep on enjoying enormous privileges, diplomatic privileges. And as a representative of South Africa, he provides diplomatic service to the visiting former head of state. That's why there's nothing called former president. They are always president and former head of state.
Okay.
So he's compelled, duty-bound to exercise that and provide services to Jacob Zuma. I know Anil personally, John, and I think if Zuma had asked Anil to say, advise me, man, I want to go and see the Guptas, I'm sure Anil would have said to him, President, I don't think you should do that. This would be the implication given the charged atmosphere at home relating to this family.
Right.
But in this case, if Zuma did not even ask his permission, he just stand up and say, well, I'm going to this temple there. Anil was forced to go there because not doing that, he would have snubbed a former president, which is something very much inappropriate to do.
Could, for example, a High Commissioner say, well, okay, I wasn't aware that there was this complicating wrinkle and that Ajay Gupta is there. Obviously, we will provide you with, all the support to which you are entitled. But, for example, I don't want to be in the photographs. Or is that splitting hairs and asking a diplomat to be very undiplomatic?
You know, diplomats, that's why you will find it in the teetotalers when they go to the diplomatic function.
Yes.
They'll have a glass in their hand which is empty.
Right.
Even though they don't drink. So if he goes there and all of a sudden they are saying a photograph, he will definitely oblige with that. It's the content that he may not agree with it, but he's here providing services to President Zuma, not to the ideas of President Zuma. He's servicing him as a former head of state. And really, I listened to the cabinet statement this morning. It's a bit unfortunate because, the manner in which cabinet is describing him, describing Suklal that he's giving the middle finger to the justice system, I think that's going too much.
Yes.
I think he was performing his function. They funded him, the minister and the president. He said they funded him. They facilitated Zuma's going there, provided funding for his travel there. He's there paid by the state, and you have a state representative who provides this diplomatic services, which is part of his duties to Zuma. And next thing, he's penalized for it. He's described in this manner. I think it's a bit unfortunate, John.
So, Dr. Makubela, let me ask you this then. Minister Kumbuzo Nchaveni was also saying, well, we may have to reconsider certain I don't know if she used the word privileges, but certain...
Privileges.
Yes, so let's stay with that word there. Privileges to the former head of state, as you've suggested, I should word that, President Jacob Zuma. It is, I mean, can you do that arbitrarily? And I'm not suggesting this would be arbitrary, but surely you would have to do that procedurally. You couldn't just say,
Absolutely.
well, we're not going to do that. We're not going to give this anymore.
Absolutely. And it can't be directed to a particular individual. It must be overhaul of the system. Remember, this is the new dispensation, the new democracy. And that's what people are fearing for. I don't know what people fear amending certain aspect of the Constitution. Like the powers that are given to the president. He has too much powers.
Yes.
They can amend those issues. A former president is giving a lot of privileges without any condition. They can amend that. In other countries, John, former presidents are not allowed to enter into politics. If they do that, they lose their privileges automatically. We don't have such conditions.
Yeah.
We still here. I mean, here, the cars that are provided to former President Zuma are provided by the state, the security by the state, funded, and they take him where he wants to go. The police may not want to see people he meets, but they are performing their function to him. And that's why they will go with him there. Even now in India, I think they went with him there. They don't agree with that. Are you going to penalize them for having gone there because they work for the state? They are the state employee. They represent the country. They represent the police and so on. They have to deal with a bigger issue.
Yes.
And I think this attack on Suklal by the cabinet, in my own view, it's a bit misplaced and a bit unfortunate. I hope they would find a way to resolve that.
Thank you so much, former diplomat, head of risk recon, Dr. Kingsley Makubela, speaking from his experience and his perspective, having done this kind of work for a long time. Munir takes a different view and sends us this on 072-702-1702. Diplomats, Munir believes, should be advisors as well. He is a weak advisor and just doing as asked is not providing a service. He is then merely a chauffeur. 22 minutes past 5. Your views, please. We'd love to hear them. This is 702 Drive.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Now, I did say that we were going to talk about the Amazon carbon credits deal, and we will do that on Monday. But I think we feel that what's going on out in Rotunda is simply something we cannot ignore. It appears as if that situation in the southeastern part of Gauteng has really reached a very, very serious point indeed. So let's catch up with what's going on there, and welcome to 702 Drive, Skara Mafukwane, who is a Newsroom Africa reporter. Skara, a really rough day out in Mafukwane, out in Rotunda, and I believe this is over issues of water shortages. What have you seen today and what's happening now? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Dr. John, and good afternoon to the 702 listeners. I must indicate before I go into the nub of the story that there is a crowd right now as we speak. It would seem things are escalating right now as we speak because there are hundreds of protesters marching towards where we are and where the police are. There are several police, there are 3 I can count, 2 water cannons from the SAPS, from the public order policing, which is trying to disperse the crowd. But their outcry, Dr. John, is that Rotunda has got about 5 sections. Now, in all sections, some sections, they say it's been 3 months without water. In other sections, it has been 3 weeks. So this has escalated to a point where they say they've been engaging with the mayor and to no luck so far. What happened, Dr. John, on Wednesday is that a protest started here in Rotunda. The crowd started gathering at a sports field just across from where we are, Dr. John. And what happened is that public order police arrived and tried to disperse the crowd, firing several shots. At this stage, we have not been able, Dr. John, to establish if the ammunition which was used then was live ammunition or rubber bullets. But what we can confirm, Dr. John, is that 2 people succumbed to gunshot wounds. Not sure at this stage what ammunition was used, but 2 people so far who lost their lives here in Rotunda as the situation escalates, Dr. John.
So Is there any sense of a possible negotiation around this? From what you're saying, Skara, this is a long-held grievance. The water shortages sound like they've been going on for intolerable lengths of time. Is there any mediation, or is it a straightforward standoff between a crowd of angry people and a group of, I would think, quite stretched and stressed police officers?
It's interesting you asked that, because that's one of the questions that John, I asked one of the protesting residents here, and he said they are done negotiating with the authorities in this municipality, because it would seem, according to at least the one gentleman I spoke to, that their cries have not been heeded. To that effect, Dr. John, earlier in the afternoon, about an hour ago actually, a house was set alight, and that house is believed to be owned by the mayor. But what we hear is that the mayor has another house in town where which he occupies as well. So wasn't at that particular house in the township which was burned down. So it would seem at this stage, they, according to them at least, they're beyond the negotiating stage, at least with the local authorities. It is going to be very interesting to engage with them further as to then where to from here, because now it's public order police who have the situation, or at least trying to contain the situation, which to my vantage point is escalating and out of hand at the moment.
Thanks so much, Will. You do please stay safe. Skara Mafukwane joining us from Newsroom Africa. You can follow his coverage on Channel 405. And situation out in Rotunda seems like it's been bad for a number of days now, extremely bad today. And all the suggestions are this could get worse before it gets better. 702 Drive, it's 26 minutes now past 5.
John is on X
at John Perlman.
So coming up on the show, first of all, coming up on SABC 2 at 7 o'clock on Saturday night, the first episode of Season 3 of The Masked Singer. And based on what people have said about the first 2 seasons, absolutely not to be missed. The man who's hosting it is Mpo Pops, and he's going to be joining us on 702 Drive as my guest for a song, a book, and a dish. I'm looking forward to that. That's coming away at about, let's say 20 minutes to 6. I don't think he'll be in disguise, but if he is, we'll deal with that if we have to. 27 minutes past 5.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk. EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. The end of the week's trade over to you with everything we need to know from that. And of course, you'll tell us what you're doing on the Money Show tonight. Welcome.
John, good afternoon, if only I knew. The JSE All Share up 0.96%, ending the week with a little bit of a run. The All Share 111,507 points, driven largely by resources. Financials pulling their weight, though. They're up 1/3%. Industrials up nearly 0.5%. Resources up 2.36%. The usual reason, John, platinum and gold just pulling things up a little bit. Karoo, though, ending up the top earner of the day. They're up 5.88%. And then into your platinum and gold mining. So Implat's up 5.5%, Harmony up 5%, DRD Gold, Valterra up nearly 4%. Clicks, a strong run at the end. They're up 3.5%. We've seen one or two of the consumer stocks doing all sorts of very interesting things this week. So, for example, the Foschini Group, they're down nearly 2%, giving up some of the strong gains they had yesterday. British American Tobacco also down 1.44%, while Discovery is down 1.25%. But Optasia, really, I suppose, the biggest loser. They gained, I think they were up 7% yesterday. It looked like a very strong earnings report to me. Their revenue is going to be up by around 50%. Down today, 5.63%. A little bit of regret there, perhaps, from some people. Sun International down 1.5% on the day as well. Confirmation from Cabinet that they're looking at changing the way in which we store oil. So at the moment, we store 30 days worth of crude oil. The idea would be to extend that to 60 and then eventually to put it to 90 days. So just looking at that and obviously seeing what is going to happen in terms of how that is going to work and what that will really mean. But there will, of course, be some complexities to do that, and I'm sure that won't be the easiest thing in the world. U.S. markets closed today for July the 4th, which is tomorrow. They are talking international markets, though, following on from the US lead of yesterday and slightly up on the day because of US inflation and interest rate expectations. The gold price $4,171.80, platinum $1,649.99. Brent crude stable, $71.91. The rand to the dollar, 16.21. So ending the week quite strong there, John. To the euro, 18.56. To the British pound, 21.66. On the Money Show tonight, we'll talk the economic impact of the Durban July, not yet renamed eThekwini July, I notice. We will talk also about El Nino and our farmers with Wandile Sehlobo, but we'll start the show with the chair at Eskom, Mteto Nyati, and some strong comments he's made about leadership and the elite of South Africa. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Very interesting Money Show in Prospect coming your way between 6 and 8. 5:30 it is, and Mbali Dlamini and the rest of the EWN news team ready and waiting to tell you exactly what's happening, everything you need to know. Mbali.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. While President Cyril Ramaphosa has approved the deployment of more than 3,000 soldiers in response to the migrant protests and threats of violence, the deployment of the SANDF members across all provinces will cost 54 million rand and last until the end of this month. Ramaphosa informed National Assembly Speaker Thoko Didiza about that deployment in a letter published by Parliament earlier today. Babalo Ndenze has the details.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has informed Parliament about the deployment of the 3,405 SANDF members as required by the Constitution. In the letter dated June 30th, Ramaphosa says the deployment, in cooperation with the police, started on the 28th of June and will run until the 31st of July. In his letter, Ramaphosa says the move is to prevent and combat crime and maintain and preserve law and order in the country. The deployment also forms part of Operation Prosper in the event of required emergency heightened security measures in all 9 provinces. The SANDF deployment expenditure of 54 million rand is in addition to the SAP's 600 million rand budget for Tuesday's protests that went relatively peacefully, with a few looting incidents in some provinces. Babalo Ndenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Engineering excellence remains critical to South Africa's efforts to rebuild confidence in its infrastructure sector. This is according to Public Works Deputy Minister Sihle Zikalala. Zikalala was speaking at the Public Works and Infrastructure Summit in Johannesburg today. He says the country cannot deliver safe, reliable and sustainable infrastructure without investing in engineering expertise. Zikalala says engineers will play a central role in improving delivery, maintaining public assets and supporting economic growth.
We're working hard on consultation as the department on the establishment of the Office of Engineer General of South Africa as a response to a call that came from the South African engineers themselves that released or revealed the need to build and strengthen engineering.
And in Monaco, authorities have announced a massive hunt for a Ukrainian woman suspected of planting a bomb. The suspect is wanted for attempted murder, placing an explosive device on a public road with criminal intent and criminal conspiracy. The blast earlier this week injured 3 people, reportedly including a Ukrainian tycoon. Police opened an attempted murder investigation at the time, but did not qualify it as a terrorism investigation. One of the 3 injured people is a woman who is still in a life-threatening condition in hospital. A cold but sunny Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Lows of between 2 and 3 degrees and highs of between 17 and 19.
Alberton, there's an accident scene N12 West near the Eland interchange causing more than a 30-minute delay all the way from Modderfontein Road, Noordgesig. That's heading into Soweto. Bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is N17 westbound between Nasbrook Road and the Soweto Highway. And in Sunning Hill, roadwork still causing about a 30-minute delay approaching the intersection of Rivonia Road and Witkoppen.
The top story in EWN, President Cyril Ramaphosa has approved the deployment of more than 3,000 soldiers in response to the anti-illegal migration protests and threats of violence.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
Kat Matala is going to be testifying next week on Tuesday. There is concern. People are concerned. It's about time. This house of cards of criminality has to fall. My sense is that Kat Matlala is going to say things that are going to shock us. But depending on what the deal looks like, my sense, though, is that the deal will be sweetened enough for him to feel that he can talk. And oh my, when he begins to talk, it's going to be interesting.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
They said you weren't worth their time, but you built anyway. You backed yourself. You didn't start this to drown in admin and survive month to month. Yoko gets that. They once gave you access. Now they're giving you an unfair advantage by people who've been there too. AI that reads your business and guides your next move. Loyalty that keeps customers coming back. One platform built for your reality. Stop just running your business and get back to the reason you started it. Yoko, let's grow.
Sporting Bet's Millionaires Cup is live, and your shot at up to 10 million rand is on the line. A pass, a tackle, a strike. Moments make the game. This one could make you. Take on a series of thrilling missions and climb your way to millionaire status with every stage of the tournament. Bet now at sportingbet.co.za. Could you be our next millionaire? Sporting Bet. Betting amplified. T's and C's apply. Sporting Bet is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No under 18s may gamble. WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710 or contact the SARGF toll-free counseling line on 0800 006 008. Winners know when to stop.
Light the fire this weekend with Checkers. We have everything you need to keep the braai and the gees going strong. Get Championship Boerewors, thick or thin, or Boerie Bites for $109.99 per kilo. Simple Truth Natural Lamb Chops for $179.99 per kilo. Steakhouse Classic Man-Size Rump for $189.99 per kilo. And Steakhouse Classic Porterhouse Steak for $199.99 per kilo. Valid until 5 July, only at Checkers.
On Sunday, 26 July, the entire city unites for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk.
Walk the talk.
And because Joburg is more than just a city, we'll be walking for the people. So join us and help make a difference to homelessness in the city by entering on primemediaplus.com and donating vouchers.
Donate a voucher.
Which is a cashless way to give, helping people experiencing homelessness access a hot shower, a meal, a bed, or more support. Anybody can join and everybody can donate. 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Enter and donate now on primemediaplus.com.
EWN Sport.
23 minutes to 6 o'clock now. Sports time with Tolakele Mganga. Good afternoon again.
Afternoon, John. And Cape Verde's dream debut at the World Cup faces its toughest test as they go up against defending champions Argentina in the round of 32. Ghana take on Colombia, looking to join Morocco in the last 16. And Carlos Queiroz has discussed why the African teams have struggled in the knockouts after 9 of them progress past the group stages.
Well, it's another challenge for us. We have to improve these stats, Jordan, tomorrow. We have to make it better. Yeah. So it is in our shoulders to be sure that we add another African team to the next round. That's our duty.
Egypt are expected to have Mohamed Salah fit and available for their clash against Australia after he went off with a hamstring problem in the Pharaohs' last game. Tony Popovich insists the Socceroos are fully prepared for the encounter against the Egyptians, whether or not Salah plays.
Yes, we have prepared for, obviously, Mohamed Salah playing. We've seen when he's not on the pitch, the players that are in those positions where he may play. So we've prepared for both scenarios, and we'll see tomorrow.
The PSL Footballer of the Season award will be contested by Oswin Napalis and Relebohile Mofokeng, as well as Debo Mokoena, with the winners of the 2026 award to be crowned at a ceremony on the 27th of July. Napalis and Mofokeng are also up for the Premiership's Players Player of the Season, where they're joined by Kamokhelo Sibelebele, while the nominees for the Coach of the Season are Miguel Cardoso, Abdeslam Madou, and former Kaizer Chiefs co-coaches Cedric Kaze and Khalil Ben Youssef. Switching over to rugby, where it's a double-header at Ellis Park tomorrow as the Springbok women take on the USA, followed by the Nations Championship clash between the Boks and England. Assistant coach Mzwandile Stick says England's woeful Six Nations campaign will have no bearing on their highly anticipated clash.
We did analyze them and go through deep into their game on what they've done in the Six Nations, but results-wise, I don't think we will pick up too much, because a game between us and England, whatever they've done in the past, it doesn't matter anymore. We know they're going to be psyched up for this game. They're going to beat up physically, and you saw they almost took us out of the World Cup.
And four-time Tour de France champion Chris Froome has retired from professional cycling, bringing the curtain down on a glittering career that spanned over 2 decades. Froome confirmed his retirement ahead of this year's race, which begins on the 4th of July and concludes on the 26th. He hasn't raced since sustaining life-threatening injuries in a training crash last year. That's where he was airlifted to hospital after suffering broken ribs, a collapsed lung and a back fracture. Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
At 20 minutes to 6, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 4512 now. And you could save on car insurance if you don't. Ask them for 500 Rand. Karabo Charlie, tell us it's all fine. Unless it isn't.
I'm afraid it's not, John.
Okay.
Pretty busy on our roads. At this stage, heading into Soweto, Noord-Gesig, traffic remains heavily backed up. This is on the N17 westbound between Nasrec Road and the Soweto Highway in Sunning Hill. Roadwork still causing about a 30-minute delay approaching the intersection of Rivonia Road and Witkoppen, Tembisa, bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is on Olifantsfontein Road between Southwood Drive and the N1. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
30 minutes doom scrolling goes by quickly, but 30 minutes stuck in traffic feels like a lifetime. Thankfully, the Outsurance pointsmen are here to save the day. These heroes in green and purple have been easing traffic congestion for the past 20 years. The Outsurance pointsmen helping everyone get where they need to be quickly and safely. Just another way you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702. Show them some love online using hashtag #PointsmenLove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Jacob Zuma this week had tea with an old friend, one-time state capture fugitive AJ Gupta. And during the visit, Zuma says he believes he's now going to win future elections because the people of God are with him. Sam Mkokeli, I think the thing that struck me was that he remained unrepented, but also he's still influential. The idea of getting officials of the government without Durko's approval to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's just a ridiculous kind of development, considering the pain South Africans have felt because of our state capture. But he's been consistent. He's never distanced himself from the Gupta family, but probably also opportunistic. There's an election campaign, there's money to be raised. So that kind of thing, it is probably one of the motivations to get over there and pretend to be bigger than he really is.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
The 139 million Rand Powerball extra cascading jackpot has been won. 3 people each walked away with over 45.7 million Rand. The tickets were bought on the Standard Bank and FNB apps and in-store Checkers Hyper in Alberton. Congrats! And don't forget to play the Powerball today because a total estimated Powerball jackpot of 74.5 million Rand could all be yours. The National Lottery, more plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizekaya.
702 Drive with John Perlman was in conversation with FNB Private Banking, discussing its recognition at the Europe Money Global Private Banking Awards.
Our ethos is really around being deeply client-centric. So we want to partner with our clients and walk the journey of financial management with them from start to finish. And so what that means is we're not in the business of selling products. We're in the business of developing solutions that we customize to each client's individual needs. Now that approach helps you focus, and one of the big things we sort of strive for is simplicity, because we understand that investments can be quite a daunting thing for people to talk about, and so simplicity helps make the conversation easier with customers, and like we always say, focus breeds quality. So when we're focused, we have a higher likelihood of getting to our investment goals.
Learn more at fnb.co.za. FNB Private, advice for your wealth journey. FNB is a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
A song, a book, and a dish.
On 702.
7:02 drive at 16 minutes to 6. It's that time of the week where we get to know better somebody who you think you already know because you've seen them. Maybe you've seen them on stage dealing with the unpredictability, the adrenaline, and all the other things that come with doing stand-up comedy. Or maybe you've seen them on TV where within the incredibly difficult constraints, because people may think TV is easy, but I'm pretty sure it absolutely is not, having to exercise maximum creativity within the discipline of a structured show. That structured show that I have in mind when I make that point is The Masked Singer, South Africa Season 3. It comes to SABC 2 for episode 1 on Saturday night, i.e. tomorrow at 7 o'clock. You don't want to miss it, because hosting it again will be Mpo Pops Murikwane. Joins me in the 702 Drive studio. Mpo, thanks so much. It's great to have you with us.
Uncle John, thank you for having me, man. It's so good to be here.
No masks. I don't have one. He doesn't. Mpo, I want to start just with the point I made opening. We'll get to stand up in a moment. But my understanding, because our colleague Bongani Bingwa was on the show, and he was saying it is very, very disciplined. It's run as a very tight ship, and within that, people like yourself, but also the contestants, have then got to be creative and perform. Do you enjoy? I mean, you must enjoy that kind of TV, but it's very different to stand up.
Yeah, I think in order to get through a day of making The Masked Singer, you actually have to love what you do.
Yes.
And I think we're blessed in the sense that everybody on that set loves what they do, including the masks themselves, right? As hard as it is being inside that costume for as long as they are. It's very different from what I do because it requires a certain discipline, like you said. But the show in itself is based on pure mystery, right?
Yes.
That's what makes The Masked Singer so much fun. We never know who's behind the masks. Not just the people at home, even us, the people making the show.
Yeah.
Because there's so much secrecy and privacy. When a mask is picked up from their house, they are picked up in a car that is completely blacked out. Nobody knows that they're participating in the show.
Yes.
They get picked up with VIP security. When they get to the show, the studio has been designed in such a way that when masks walk, they can shut down the entire production. So whatever you guys are doing, you can't move. Only the masks can move. Up until the moment that mask comes off, we never know who's in that mask.
Amazing.
So it plays on that mystery, but also just from a show format point of view, it does require a certain level of discipline because you kind of have to do a scripted television show from start to end, right?
Yes.
You're doing about 7 or 8 pages of auto cue, but you have to leave room for magic because magic happens at any time. It's the most unpredictable show, and I think that's what makes it fun, and I think that's where the comedy muscle kicks in.
I must admit, in the way I presented that, I'm probably underestimating the discipline in stand-up because you don't just get up and say, well, I think I'll do. I mean, and having spoken, and we'll come back to your life in stand-up a little bit later, but everyone I've ever spoken to did that, has made clear that there's a lot of work, a lot of preparation, lots of making mistakes, licking your wounds, and flying when it works brilliantly well. But I want to go back. Youngest of 4 children. Do you think being the youngest shaped you? There is an argument with sports in particular saying youngest kids are more determined. They've got to run to keep up. Was that you?
That was definitely me. That
Yeah.
was definitely me. I think the world considers it being the black sheep of the family when you're the youngest.
Oh, really? I'm
But I
also
think-
the youngest.
But I think when you're the youngest, you have more
Yes.
to prove, right?
Yes.
And I often say to people, I'm not the funniest person from my house, right?
Okay.
I think my mom is way funnier than all of us combined. One of my older brothers is probably one of the funniest people I know on the planet. I'm the only one that decided to do this for a living. You know, they have regular jobs. My mom's a school teacher.
Yes.
My brother works at Standard Bank. And for me, I'm the only one that literally decided, let me take this thing, this family heirloom, as you call
Yes.
it, and go as far as I possibly can with it. But I think it's so much pressure being the youngest because you are constantly trying to not prove a point, but just to go, I fit in as well.
Yes.
Like, guys, I know I'm the youngest. You've been babying me for too long. let me show you I can stand on my own too.
It's like the kid, the smallest kid in the class at the back of the picture, sort of jumping to be seen. I'm also here, you know.
That was me. That was me my whole childhood.
Not just my hand. But let's stay with your mom,
Yes.
Barbie, a school teacher. How did her being a school teacher shape you in terms of how you went about your school life? I mean, was she pretty strict in saying, no, I don't think you don't have homework, let's see it? I mean, was she that mom?
My mom was a mom, like a mom.
Yes,
like
yes.
a proper mom. And she had this ability to not bring that world within the household.
Interesting, yeah.
When you needed her to, she would.
Yeah.
Like the moment you said, I need help with school in this way, you sort of saw her embody that I'm a teacher now.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever she came home, she had this ability to sort of not bring work home with her. But what she did, which is actually like, I think this is where I started falling in love with the art of storytelling. What my mom would do is she'd come home and share what happened in her day, right? So she'd share from like what happened with the kids. My mom teaches primary school kids. So she would come and share the drama. This one did this. And every time my mom told us stories of what happened in her day, we would always be on the floor, rolling, laughing. And she was very animated in how she told the stories. She would do the voices of whoever she was talking about. You know, she'd exaggerate certain things here and there for comedic effect. And I think that's why I fell in love with essentially what I get to do now.
Yeah, which as you say, is storytelling. So as you were talking about your mom telling the stories, I'm imagining a dinner table, and I don't know if that was the way your family rolled, that everyone's around the table, it's the end of the day, we're going to catch up, we're going to share stuff. And that includes sharing food. And this is the part of this feature that I don't like, because I always get hungry. But you talk about lamb stew with some marrojo. I mean, tell us about mealtime at your home.
Mealtime is the most important time. I used to have a joke that I used to say that it was a hook. I used to say, in brokinity, there comes creativity.
Yes.
So we never always had the right kind of food. And that's where I think we learned a lot of creativity, because our parents could cook the same meal every day, Monday to Friday, but make it different.
Yes.
Right? We'd have cabbage and rice every day, but today it would have a bit of beef stock, or tomorrow it would have a bit of same meal. So our parents learned how to be creative with the little that they had. So my mom perfected making a lamb stew. And I can remember very different points in my life where my mom's lamb stew has either reset me, or it's been the one thing that, you know, when you miss home and when you have that meal and it's like, this is... So that lamb stew with morojo, and that is my go-to meal. My mom once brought it for me in hospital when I was recovering.
Wow.
And I got better instantly.
Yes. Well, there's. I might need to get a number from you. but tell me. I want to just stay with the lamb stew. Did your mom kind of know, like, if you know, at a point when you weren't living with her anymore, and you would there be something in the way you said, "I'm coming round," that told her there was lamb stew called for, or would you say, "Hey, listen, I'm having a lamb stew moment. Do you have the ingredients?"
I think a mom knows.
Well, your mom knows.
Yeah, I think when you say, "Hey, I need to come home, I need to come see you,"
yes.
She knows something's wrong, and you're not going to tell her on the phone, or maybe you're not in a good place, or maybe you just miss home. It's your way of just saying, "Oh no, I miss you. I want to see you."
Yeah.
So then she knows it. Let me make the lamb stew. And immediately after the lamb stew, then the tongue starts rolling, and you get to the crux of the matter. It's become such a great bonding meal. And I love the fact that my mom has also taught my wife how to make it. So, yeah.
So you're well set for lamb stew, but it doesn't mean you're never going to need it again, which is a great balance to have. Let's talk books. I don't know what you read as you were growing up in your teens and so on, but you've chosen a book that's very much about where you want to go and learning from people who've got some ideas, if I've understood right. I haven't read Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson, but you sent us a note saying it's about some really great life lessons that teaches you about adaptability. So clearly a book that meant a lot to you.
Yes. So growing up, I started reading a lot of stuff that would help me progress in life, right? I think Rich Dad Poor Dad was one of the first books that kind of got me switched on to the idea of like, oh, there are different perspectives to look at life and how to make it in life, and teachings are very important, right? And with Who Moved My Cheese, it was the book is a metaphor for like the things you want in life. And I think a lot of the times people always complain about like, this happened to me, so therefore I couldn't do this.
Yes.
And Who Moved My Cheese, it's a very short book. It's a great read. Whenever you have time, give it a read. But it talks about the ones who complained about their cheese being moved versus the ones who found a new way in the maze to figure out where to find more cheese. So I think what ends up happening in life is we become comfortable with our cheese being in the same place.
Yes.
Right? I know this is my cheese, this is where I get it from.
Yeah.
And then after 3-4 months or 3-4 years, you go to that place and the cheese is no longer there.
Yes.
And you're standing around and you're like, where's my cheese? Who took my cheese? And now you're starting, there's groups and guys, there's that group, then there's the other group that goes, well, there's no more cheese here. Let's go look for cheese elsewhere.
Yeah, it sounds very interesting, and I'll give it a read. Tell me this. I mean, I want to make sure we talk a little bit about stand-up. For anyone, I know you said your brother's hilarious, your mom is a fabulous storyteller, but it's not for the faint-hearted.
Nope.
And if you're going to do it,
nope.
You got to know that some days it's not going to be your night. Did you get that thick skin quite quickly?
No, not at all. Not at all. Nothing prepares you for a good death. That's what bombing is called in stand-up.
Okay.
A good death.
Yes.
Comedy is one of the easiest industries to get into, but it's one of the hardest to stay in. And I think for me, in the beginning, obviously you go out there, you just want to know that you're funny. That's all you want. That's initially in comedy, you want to get on stage and know that, oh, I made people laugh. Then as you grow in comedy, you start learning at which points do you make people laugh. But part of that growth is tanking. It is dying. It is bombing on stage, and nothing prepares you for that thick skin. Because you don't just get the thick skin, or you don't come in with thick skin. You actually develop it as you go. Because bombing,
callous by callous.
Callous by callous.
Yes.
Because there's nothing worse than a good death. Eh? A good death will have you driving home with the radio off, reconsidering your life and why am I doing this? But the fact that you can, this is what I love about comedy. It's one of the only things where you can actually die and come back to life. So the more you keep doing that, the better you get. The more calluses you get, the thicker skin you get, and the better performer you become.
I was about to ask you whether maybe you go home, not with the radio off, but with a song that is special to you, and the song you've chosen for us that is special to you, Daft Punk, Around the World. Tell us why.
Okay, I'm a Daft Punk fan, so much so I don't even know how they look.
Yes.
All right. Again, the mystery. It's so cool. My favorite group in the world are masked singers.
Yes.
But this is a happy song. Like, you can play the song anywhere in the world. People will love it. If a friend of mine always said, if you were stuck on an island and all you could choose was one song, what song would it be? And this is the song for me. And if you watch the video, please, when you get a chance, go on YouTube, watch the video. This is a video from the 90s, by the way.
Right.
Or early 2000s. Late 90s, early
1997.
1997, there we go. That music video has maybe like 30, 40 dances. Every dancer or every little group of dancers are moving to a different instrument in the song. So that doom, 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 doom has a set of dances. The doom, 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 doom own set of dances.
Huh.
And when the lyrics start, around the world, there's a bunch of Martians dancing in a circle around the world. So this was choreographed in a time where there was no special effects, there was no clever camera work. This was rehearsed over and over, practiced over and over. And when you see it, it's shot literally with a wide angle, so you can see every single movement. Every dancer dancing to every beat. Brilliant.
I'll be sure to watch it, and you should be sure to watch The Masked Singer, hosted by my guest, Mpo Pops Modikwane. Thank you so much for sharing with us your song, your book, and your dish. Masked Singer, SABC 2 on tomorrow. At 7 p.m. Enjoy
SABC 2. Thank you, Uncle John.
We've enjoyed having you. Let's play out and enjoy the music. Round the World by Daft Punk, bringing to an end not only this episode of A Song, a Book and a Dish, but this week on 702 Drive. The show was put together by Jonathan Fairburn and Rifue Litsua. Karabo Malapile is our technical producer. I'm John Perlman. Have a great weekend. Go Boca.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA Rewards. Get double cash back when an African team scores and wins at the FIFA World Cup 2026. Courtesy of Visa. T's and C's apply. Good evening. On your Money Show tonight, the Eskom chair, Mteto Nyati, and why he believes members of our elite think the rules don't apply to them, and how to bring proper accountability to our society. As winter has you in its tight grip, Wandile Seklobo will tell you how farmers are preparing for the Super El Nino, which will grab hold of you this summer. And we'll look at the contribution to fashion and our economy from the annual Durban July. All of that to come, but first, the very latest Eyewitness News.
Good evening, I'm Maki Malapo. We begin in the south of Heidelberg, where residents are protesting over a prolonged water crisis that has left many households without reliable supply for weeks. Demonstrations began in the early hours of Wednesday in Extension 23, where frustrated residents blocked roads and demanded urgent intervention from authorities. The protest action has now spread to other parts of the community, with a large police contingent deployed to the area after tensions escalated. This afternoon, they've used tear gas and rubber bullets in an effort to disperse protesters and reopen blocked roads. Tsepo, a community leader in the area, has accused the Lesedi municipality of dishonesty regarding the water shedding, saying it was planned maintenance.
So at the end, they had to come out with the truth to tell us Wuti they owe Rand Water around 70 million. So they made an arrangement with Rand Water to pay them for this month, and they could not pay. So they defaulted on their arrangement with Rand Water. So Rand Water decided to introduce water shedding to reduce the water by 20%. So in the past 4 weeks, some areas have been getting water maybe once or twice